Hey guys, go grab yourself a cup of your favorite tea because it is tea time. I am having white tea with blueberry today. Let me know what you're having. In this tea time, I wanted to talk to you about something that I'm kind of nervous talking about this. I don't know why. We'll probably get to that later, but the thing I wanted to discuss today is imposter syndrome. I guess let me just start by kind of telling you what imposter syndrome is if you don't know about it. It is not an actual syndrome, not something you can get diagnosed with currently as far as I'm aware, but it is the phenomenon of people with a certain degree of success feeling like they don't deserve the success and kind of ended up in the position they're in by accident or a certain sequence of circumstances, or like they are just pretending and everyone is about to find out that they are actually a fraud and an imposter in the position that they are currently in. You know, they will be found out and kind of exposed as such. So when I first came across this term, I just found it interesting, and then it took a few months for me to realize that I actually experienced this really intensely at times. It always feels really weird for me to say that I'm successful. I've been brought up in a culture where it's not appropriate to boast about yourself in any way. Saying that you're successful just feels very counterintuitive to me. And I feel like this is also a part of the whole imposter syndrome thing, or part of like how it manifests for me, because I'm always really afraid of people thinking I am arrogant. That's a trait that's really looked down upon in my culture and kind of a pretty serious social transgression. And I have actually been told in the past that I come across as arrogant or kind of like I think too much of myself purely because of the way I dress. I tend to put a little bit more effort into my looks than the average Dutch person, I guess, and people tend to think that I, think too much of myself for it. Okay, so we'll probably touch upon that a little bit more later, but back to my specific kind of imposter syndrome, I guess. I often tend to feel, it sounds, everything I'm gonna say sounds so silly, that's why I'm so nervous about making this video. I know how silly it sounds, but I still experience it this way, and I guess I just want to make this video to kind of, I don't know, maybe some people can relate to it, and I want to hear your experiences and your thoughts in the comments. As always, tea time videos are all about, getting a discussion going, so that's, I guess, kind of what I want to do here, but it just feels so silly, I don't know. But what I was gonna say is that I don't really feel like an actual YouTuber. I feel like I kind of just, it's so strange, I feel like I'm just someone who makes YouTube videos, and I'm not a YouTuber in the sense of the way that I see other YouTube creators. I have the habit of being extremely starstruck when I meet other YouTubers. The way YouTubers are portrayed in kind of media and everything, I tend to put myself on the other side of that. So I very much think of myself as a YouTube viewer and a fan, and not so much as a creator. I'm the fan who also makes videos themselves. Often I feel like I am just playing the YouTuber when I make my videos, and I'm just doing this for fun, which is kind of paradoxical because at the same time I am really motivated and driven in my career, because YouTube is my career, it has been for years, and I am really kind of motivated to make more of it and kind of keep doing this full time and everything. And then still I just feel like I am just pretending and playing the YouTuber, and like I am not nearly, just like I don't belong with the group of creators. Most of the time that's alright. I mean, I'm just pretty much just sitting here making my videos, and sometimes people watch them. So I guess that's why I'm most confronted with the whole imposter syndrome, not in my day-to-day life, but only when I attend events that are like specifically where I get invited as a YouTuber, creator, influencer. I hate that word, I don't think I'm an influencer, but where I'm like a special guest. Whenever I arrive at an event like that, I always feel extremely out of place. Like, what am I even doing here? Why am I here? Like, how did they invite me? I am always convinced it has been some kind of mistake, even when I get personally invited, like in an email or something, just like personally to me, I always feel like it's a mistake, and like, maybe they don't know who they should have invited and they just kind of ended up on my channel. And yeah, pretty much every single event I go to, I feel like that. Like, how did I even end up here? Why am I here? Why did they invite me? And I also feel like I am just unable to live up to what is expected of me, you know, to be the YouTuber. I am always, really terrified of everybody finding out that I am not really a YouTuber and I shouldn't be there and think like, what is she doing here and who is she even? I find myself quite unable to internalize that I am a YouTube creator with almost 500,000 subscribers and around 2 million views per month. I downplay that so much. Whenever I see another YouTuber that has like 200,000, 300,000 subscribers, I'm always just like, wow, that's so many subscribers, like, wow, great job, you know, and everything. And my almost 500,000 just don't count for some reason. And I don't know why this is. I always feel like, well, I do know why. It's the imposter syndrome. It's just, I am unable to feel like I actually deserve those subscribers or even feel like those people intentionally subscribe to me. I always feel like there's been some kind of mistake, you know, and none of this was actually supposed to happen. But yeah, mostly when I'm at events, I've been asked to do workshops, give presentations at all kinds of events. I always feel very inadequate and out of place. And it doesn't really help that I always feel like everybody else already knows each other and I'm like the odd duck in the pond. Is that a saying or did I just make that up? Like, I'm the odd one out, you know. I am not really a part of the Dutch YouTube community. I don't have YouTube friends. I don't appear in the media in the Netherlands, and in my day-to-day life I am literally just the girl next door. And I honestly think of myself more as the the Boy Scout leader than the YouTuber, which obviously I am both, I guess. I'm not confronted with my YouTuber-ness or with kind of what my job actually entails until I get invited to one of these events, which are super foreign to me, and I just feel, and I get so overwhelmed. And it's so strange too, because when I'm at home, I can usually rationalize pretty well, but once I get to an event and I'm faced with all of these YouTubers that I watch and admire and that are so well known around here, I will bring myself down a lot and kind of almost try and make myself disappear. I feel like a little high school girl. Even though I actually have like a bigger following base than these people. It's just, for some reason, I just can't grasp that. And sometimes this does get me into awkward situations. Like a few weeks ago, I went to a red carpet event. Everything was fine beforehand. I thought it was really cool that I got invited and we arrived, and then there was the red carpet and press and all these famous YouTubers, and I was just like, and then there's little old me. What am I supposed to do? Why am I here? What's going on? And I had to somehow get to the other side of the red carpet to get to the event, and I honestly didn't know what to do. I have no experience with this kind of stuff. I also felt like nobody really wanted me there, even though I was obviously invited, and it was just, I felt so awkward, and I ended up kind of just running down that red carpet, like behind all of these YouTubers, just kind of. I don't really know where I'm going with this video. I feel like I've just been blabbering about myself, and it's making me very uncomfortable. Obviously, I do try to deal with this some way or another. It's kind of paradoxical again, because what I usually try to do to kind of combat this is to fake it till you make it. So when I show up somewhere and I feel like I don't actually belong there and there's been a mistake and they are expecting this kind of YouTuber that I'm not, I will try to play the YouTuber. Kind of try and live up to what I think people expect of me, and that kind of helps depersonalize it and put a little bit of a barrier between me, who is feeling extremely self-conscious at the moment, and kind of the whole thing that's going on. And usually pretty quickly after I, spend a little bit of time at the event, I realize that it's not all that big and important, or like not as huge as I made it out to be. I feel like we often have these kind of fantasies about celebrity events, and then when you actually get to one, it is so underwhelming. Like, I don't mean to, I want to make sure I don't sound like this doesn't come across wrong, but it's usually just a presentation in a hall with people who are literally just people. When you meet them, they're all just people. It's usually not all that amazing as you kind of picture it in your mind, and like as it comes across on social media. When you see especially like all these blogger beauty events. Like, sure, it's really cool when you get to play with all this makeup, but that's literally it. That's all that goes on. You come there, there's people you know from Instagram, and then there's makeup, and you play with it and you leave. So that usually really helps me to kind of put things into perspective. It's not that big of a deal, really. You just come there, show up, leave again. And honestly, just trying to fake a little bit of that confidence helps so much, because looking back at myself, I have seen photos of myself from these events where I just look so awkward. My posture is all, you know, crouched, and I'm just thinking to myself, if I had just had a little bit more confidence and kind of like stood up straight, you know, it would have been so much less awkward. I actually made it awkward by feeling so awkward. What I also try to do is to remind myself that I have been invited there. So that people do actually want me there and I do belong there, and that I, you know, have a right to be there because of some of my achievements, obviously. And I try to kind of keep telling myself that, but that is just like, well, that comes back to the whole thing that I talked about in the beginning. I feel like I am not allowed to be proud of my work and proud of kind of myself. And I'm always afraid of coming across as arrogant or being arrogant. So I guess what this all comes down to is I am really insecure at public appearances, yay! Imposter syndrome. It feels weird even labeling myself with imposter syndrome, again, because it means kind of admitting that I am successful to a certain degree or something. I am so full of doubts about it, whether I'm even allowed to label myself with imposter syndrome or whether I'm just actually an imposter and not a real YouTuber and just accidentally got invited to events and ended up with subscribers and things like that. But I guess the thing is, the bottom line is, I don't know, and I shouldn't really care. When people choose to subscribe to my channel, obviously there is something about my videos that they enjoy, and when someone invites me to their event, then obviously they want me at their events, and they have seen my videos and they do know who I am and what I do, and it was purposeful. And also a great thing to realize is that I've read that around 70% of people experience this. So when you are somewhere, then it is very likely that most people feel the exact same way as you do. And that is actually kind of liberating and a really nice thing to realize, that you're not the only one who feels that way. Many other people probably feel just as awkward as you, even if they don't show it, maybe. I feel like I kind of highlighted the root of the problem just perfectly in this video, because all I've talked about is me, and that is the whole point. It's not, kind of, when you're experiencing imposter syndrome, you have to realize that it's not all about you, I guess, and that you're not actually all that important. Silly as that sounds, nobody is paying as much attention to you as you are yourself. Realizing that is really important in the process of kind of losing all of that insecurity and those thoughts that aren't really true or based on anything. I think it's best to realize that people expect things of you based on past experiences with you, or kind of what they know of you and what they've seen from you, and there's no reason to really expect them to expect more of you than you have already shown. And that's a really good thing to keep in mind if you do experience imposter syndrome. So do let me know, guys, have you ever experienced anything like this? I have watched a few videos on this topic on YouTube and read a few blog posts, and there's always so many comments from people that experience the same thing. There's also loads of comments from people who have never experienced anything like that, which good for you. But if you have, I would love to read your experiences with imposter syndrome, kind of a time when you really felt it really badly and kind of how you deal with it, I guess. I haven't been able to provide as much insight on that as I would have liked for this video, because I'm still in the really early stages. I just realized that this is something that I recognize in myself and that maybe I could start dealing with. So if anyone has any tips, I am always, you know, open and really happy to hear advice from you guys. I'm not entirely sure I was able to bring across the points that I wanted to bring across. I just feel like this video was all over the place, and I really hope it comes across the way I meant it to. But if it doesn't, then that's okay as well. I need to accept that. Oh, this is also a thing. I tend to kind of feel, well, whenever my video ends up in other people's recommended boxes, or like people who don't regularly watch my videos, I always feel kind of treated unjustly when they treat me like people normally treat other YouTubers, or like YouTubers. So when I receive hates and troll comments and things like that, I'm not used to getting those, and I always feel like I shouldn't be getting them because I'm not a real YouTuber, which makes no sense at all. Not at all. So I have to accept that, you know, I am a normal YouTuber and I am vulnerable to criticism, and I have to expect some of it, and even trolling and hate. So yes. Anyways, let me know your experiences or any tips that you have. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy, don't forget to give a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to my channel. There's another video here, guys, that you may also enjoy. You can go watch next. Thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.